Want to grow your business and take it to the next level? Well, here we all are, and we are going to show you how through hard work, perseverance, and a little help and know-how, you can take things to the next level and push the success of your business even further. Let's get going.
Welcome everyone, Paul Wright here in the next episode of the Practiceology 7 Questions in 7 Minute podcast, where we teach you the science of running a highly successful health business that works without you. And Gordon Brewer has joined us from beautiful Tennessee. Gordon, thanks for being part of the podcast.
My pleasure. I'm glad to be here, Paul.
You guys are great because I contact you guys out of nowhere. So I'd like you on the podcast. And these guys, as a fellow podcaster, yeah, I'm in, I'll do it. And sure. Here we are. Gordon's introduction, he's a therapist, podcaster, trainer, speaker, and writer. He's a licensed marital and family therapist and is the person behind his own podcast, the Practice of Therapy podcast, which I suggest you get a listen to. And that provides information and resources for clinicians starting, growing, or scaling private practices, which is exactly our audience here. He's also started a new podcast in 2022, the Kindness and Compassion podcast, that explores the intersection of psychology, science, and spirituality to create more kindness and compassion in the world. Gee, I love that, Gordon. Isn't it needed? He's worked in the human services and mental health field for over 30 years. He's the owner of a group therapy practice, Kingsport Counseling Associates in Kingsport, Tennessee. Well, as a seasoned podcaster, can he do it in 7 minutes? That's the question.
Oh, that is the question.
All right, you right to go, Gordon? You know the format?
I'm ready.
All right, we are away. Gordon Brewer, who is your ideal client?
Well, I would say anyone that is in private practice, particularly the mental health fields, although we cross over into, had some physical therapists and that sort of thing, but anyone that is wanting to learn more about how to be more productive in their practice and also just learning the business and money side of running a private practice.
All the stuff we don't learn at university.
Correct.
With 6.5 minutes left. So what's the problem you solve then?
Yes, so several there, but really just helping people kind of, as I mentioned already, navigating the business side of private practice. It's nothing we learn as clinicians. And for most of us, it's something we have to learn. And I like to think of it as I've learned a lot of stuff the hard way, and I don't think everybody else has to. But primarily, we help people just learn how to create better systems and processes within their business, learn how to navigate the financial side of their businesses, and also just how to be better clinicians overall.
So question 3, with about 5.5 minutes left. Typical symptoms professionals experience when they don't know how to navigate private practice. What are the
Yes,
symptoms?
I think that, the main symptom would be just overwhelm and also just feeling like things are falling through the cracks. And also just feeling like they're not making any money, or they feel like they're floundering financially with their practices. But I think overall, just a sense of feeling overwhelmed by all the different moving parts of running a practice.
So question 4, they've identified they've got a problem. They're navigating this private practice minefield. So what are the mistakes that they make when they try and solve it, when they try and navigate? What do they do wrong?
Yes, I think the main thing is that a lot of times, especially for those of us that are psychotherapists or in the mental health field, we put a lot of emphasis on feeling. And so we make decisions based on how this feels rather than actually looking at the data and really understanding the numbers behind things. It's good to have a lot of feeling with our clients and with our patients, but if you don't have your data, if you don't understand your numbers, you're going to flounder.
What did someone say once? In God we trust, everyone else brings data.
Yes.
I like the analogy.
Yes.
So question 5, Gordon, with about 4 minutes left. So what can they do? What's a valuable free action that our listeners and viewers can do for themselves to help navigate this? What can they do for themselves?
Well, I think one thing is to give themselves permission to pull back the curtain on their numbers. That would be one thing that I would encourage them to do. And if they don't know how to do all of that, I've got a few several free resources on my website, practiceoftherapy.com. And if they'll go to practiceoftherapy.com/money matters, there's a free financial analysis guide they can pick up there. It's a PDF they can download. Also, I've got a free private practice startup guide that they can get by just going to that website. And they'll see all of the free resources there.
It's interesting for a psychotherapy, like a mental health kind of profession. It still comes back to the numbers. Doesn't matter what profession you're in. It's still all about the numbers.
Correct. Yes.
Well, question 6, you've kind of touched on it. So, what's a resource? What can they get from you? So, where do they go to get the resource, and what exactly is it?
Yes. Well, there's several. I've got several free resources, but if they'll go to practiceoftherapy.com, just that simply, they can see all the resources that I have. And if they'll go up, and there's a button right there at the top of the website that says cool resources. And also I've got several free webinars that I've got out right now. One on navigating Google Workspace and using that as a practice management platform. And the other is with one of my colleagues, we did a free webinar on scaling your practice, of going from a solo type practice to a group practice, and just things you need to consider for that. But all of those resources are there, practiceoftherapy.com. And people can also reach out to me by email, Gordon@practiceoftherapy.com.
Because you're still practicing as well. So you're still running your own practice as well as doing this.
Correct.
Busy man.
I am. Sometimes I'm guilty of having too many irons in the fire, as they say.
So question 7, with about a minute and a half left. What's the one question, Gordon, that I should have asked you that would give great value to our audience of health business owners around the world?
Yes. So probably, what does it take to be successful in practice?
So what does it take, Gordon? What is a successful practitioner?
It takes persistence and consistency. So being consistent and persistent is how I like to say it, because there's going to be a lot of ups and downs with any business, and just sticking with it and just learning from your mistakes and keep going, and you will be successful.
What a great session. So what's the URL, Gordon? Where do they go to get the resources?
Practiceoftherapy.com.
And they can find the podcast there as well, or is that on platforms
links
as well,
to the podcast. We're on all of the Practice of Therapy podcast, and you can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Beautiful. Gordon Brewer, thanks for joining us on the 7 Questions in 7-Minute Practiceology podcast. That was great.
Thanks a lot.
Now, if you haven't registered for and watched our regular Practiceology demonstration, head to mypracticeology.com and register for the next session. Or if you want to organise a chat with me to find out more about whether you're suitable for the Practiceology program, head to mypracticeology.com. I'll see you in the next episode.